Hello. I haven't spoken on here for a good while. Got some tachycardia going on. I don't have any clocks in here with second hands. So, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You get the idea. My heart's beating fast. All I did was eat a large meal and drink some orange juice. And I had tachycardia yesterday too. But um, let's see, I got my prescription on the 7th, so uh, I kept track. Like I took 11 pills over the course of 10 days. Because 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I counted it up yesterday, and I counted out my pills. And I was like, well, I took 11 pills over the course of 10 days. And yeah, that's like close to a third of my regular dosage. So, unfortunately, because I have a heart condition, I can't push it too far. Um, yeah. So, anyways, I haven't spoken on here for 10 days. I did attempt to make a video a couple of days ago, and I talked really slow, and I was just very low energy because I ain't been sleeping too good. But, reducing your benzo intake will do that. And I don't really have a whole lot to talk about because I'm basically inert. I'm an inert material. I'm not doing anything. I need to go, I need to find a doctor, go to a doctor. I have 86 Neurontin pills left. I have to take 4 of them at a time in order for them to do anything at all. So if you put 4 in the 84, you come up with 21. So that's like 21 days. If I take 4, I could cut my dose to 2. But 4 really just, it doesn't really do a whole lot. But I had a couple of bad days there. I'm not hurting like too bad today. I just have a lot of other stuff going on. And my stomach's been dicey. You know, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about um, dropping my dosage that low. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I need to get my butt to the doctor and see what kind of nonsense they want to do to me, as far as what they want to do with my knee, because my knee's really really bad. I think I mentioned I saw it in the mirror when I was standing at the microwave because I had this weird little mirror and I didn't know what to do with it, so I just threw it beside the microwave. I guess so I can watch myself spread butter on bread and put it on top of my microwave meals. But I caught sight of my leg, my right leg, with that's all swollen in the mirror, and it's bent like let's see, like say this is the joint of my knee. It's like bent like an ostrich leg, like forward. It's really tough to look at if it's your leg. Probably tough to look at even if it's not your leg. And then I got like an awning on my knee. I got like an overhang, like like chipmunks could hide underneath that and be protected from the rain with the swelling. My friend came over um, on my birthday, and he was like, "It looks like you got a bump on the side of your leg there." And yeah, kind of looks like I got an extra kneecap on my knees. Like when I fold my knee when I'm in bed, it looks like I got an extra kneecap to the side. And it's like the Baker's cyst is supposed to be here, like in the joint of the knee. It's like the swelling is wrapped around over top of it. It's just, like I said, it's like you could smoke a cigarette underneath my knee. And when it was raining. It's not good. So I'm not looking forward to getting treated, but I have to do something with it. And it's not like I hadn't tried in the past to get something done about this knee. It's like I was thinking also. I was watching football players play, and I'm like, they get their knees all torn up and shit, and doctors treat them. It's like my knee is not all tore up from somebody smashing into it sideways and bending it in unnatural directions. It's just all swollen and stuff because there's something wrong with it, and they won't investigate what it is, and they won't check it. Why won't they help me? So, like I said, I'm thinking if I can get a doctor, I can at least get some cortisone shots in it and maybe get some temporary relief. The problem with cortisone shots is if you have too often, they deteriorate soft tissue, meaning the cartilage in their knee, and they're bad for you. And some people, like my friend who had a torn rotator cuff, he gets cortisone shots, and they last him for like 4 months, 6 months sometimes. They don't last that long for me, you know. I had my knee shot up a couple of times, and it lasted like 2 weeks. So obviously, I don't can't be getting shot up with cortisone like every 2 weeks. Plus, it would be 2 weeks goes by pretty fast. Be a hell of a schedule, you know. I realize other people got medical conditions where they have to go in for dialysis periodically and they have to go in for medical procedures periodically, but that doesn't sound like fun to me. Going to the doctor every 2 weeks. My heart is still hammering. I took 2.5 milligrams of Valium and uh, some metoprolol tartrate, which is, of course, the blood pressure medication, which generally slows my heart rate down, so I should be cool. It's not comfortable. It's beating in rhythm, which is all I ask of it. It wants to be a dick and beat fast for no reason, periodically, due to either anxiety or it not being happy with my current level of benzo intake, then it has that right. I don't like it, but yeah, they call it the autonomic system, and its autonomy is its legal right due to its name. So yeah, it operates on its own and it does what it does. You know. So yeah, that's why, like, when you're a teenager, sometimes you have to wear your shirt on the outside of your pants when the pretty girl in school smiles at you. It's because there are certain things that you don't have any control over physically. Uh, Anybody that's been nervous or is a nervous person knows that sweating is one of those things, and heart rate is one of those things. So if my heart wants to beat faster, ain't a whole hell of a lot I can do about it. Um, yeah, don't really. I didn't like the other video I made. Like I said, I talked way too slow in it, and I just didn't have any energy to give. Um, I don't. I remember I talked about certain police cases, and I think I talked some about politics and just random stuff because I'm not really doing anything. But one thing I can talk about now is so I'm checking out this auction on eBay for a card that is a PSA 9, a Baker Mayfield silver prism. I have a red prism. That's the exact same card, and it's also a PSA 9 graded mint card. The red one is way rarer. Like, they don't even know how many of them exist. I paid $249 for it, you know, and I thought I got a good deal. So I'm watching this auction, and I'm like, well, $300, that's not bad for that card. It goes off at $545, which means depending upon how today goes, and they don't really have to beat the Chiefs. They just have to look formidable against the Chiefs and give them a good game. That's a $600 card minimum. If the silver will sell for 545, That thing's upward potential is $1,000 for one card. Minimum $600. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty tidy profit to make up for my stupid purchases that didn't work out. Um, which some of them seem to be working out. Most of them actually, which is good. You know, it's just they can't all. You know, guys get hurt. They can't all work out. But so that's a PSA 9. A PSA 10. I saw somebody trying to get $1,500 for. That's the only other red prism because they're rare. Like I said, that's the only other red prism um, card that I saw on eBay. They were trying to get $1,494 or something like that for it, which they're probably shooting for $1,000 because that's what you do, I guess. I've fallen for it before. Is you have like a high asking price, and then the guy comes in there and says, "I'll give you $1,000 for it." And he's like, "Wow, I just saved $494." And the other guy's like, "Wow, I paid $200 for that card. I just made like $700 after fees." Cool. So yeah, that was kind of fun to watch. I was like, "Oh, okay." Now I win either way today as far as the football game because if the Browns lose, that means I don't have to do a whole bunch of work selling my cards. If they win, that means I can make a whole bunch of money, but I have to do a whole bunch of work selling my cards. So I win either way. Um, I was going through my collection. I remembered most of what I had. I misplaced one card. I was like, I have a pretty good memory for those things. And I was like, I know I got this one card. There's only 25 of them. And I know it's Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield, David Njoku uh, jersey card. There's only 25 of them made. I know it's orange. I know it's somewhere in this damn place, and I couldn't find it. I found the cards that I bought in the lot with it, but I couldn't find it. But I was going through like uh, my collection, and I was like, if they win today, you know, stuff's jumping off the shelves right now for Browns cards. So if they win today, I don't really have any choice. I have to tomorrow immediately start putting up auctions before the next game in case they lose the next game if they win today. So all my auctions go off before that, and that would be a lot of work, but it's a good opportunity. Even just putting up all the Baker Mayfield cards I have would be a lot of work, let alone all the other players that I have. But anyways, so that's kind of a cool thing. I can make a lot of money doing that. Like I said, if they lose and put up a good showing, there's really no rush to sell the cards. But I can even just wait until the start of the season next year. I'll have enough money to move out of here either way. So I don't know. There's no real rush. The rush is really for my knee because I think it's going to drive me freaking mental if I don't do something about it. And the tachycardia thing is not cool. I did drink an extra strong cup of coffee because I can't make a good cup of coffee to save my life. It's like playing the lottery. Every so often I'll be like, oh, this coffee's not too bad, but most of the time it's like, ugh, I can't make a good cup of coffee. I was thinking about getting one of those coffee pots that has the timer on it and makes coffee at a certain time when you wake up. That would be cool because it's tough staggering out of bed on a wounded knee and going out there and making a cup of coffee the way I have to make cups of coffee because I don't have a working coffee pot. I just have I don't even have like a pot. I just have like the hopper part, so everything's manual. I do the natural stuff of putting in the paper, putting in the coffee, and then I take one cup of coffee, and I pour it into the coffee maker, and then I set it down. I guess it works. It just works really slowly. And then I set the cup down, and then that's my morning ritual. Lately, it's been letting the cat in and feeding the cat. He was late this morning, and we've kind of sunk into a little bit of a routine. He was taking advantage of me a little bit last night by staying in the house late, and I'm like, no, we're not doing no overnights because I'm not leaving. I don't want to leave the window open overnight. We had some really heavy precipitation here that went all the way from rain to sleet to snow. It was like right around 35 degrees outside. And at one point, it was putting down like snowflakes like that. I said orange juice. I can't really drink orange juice, but I had something to get rid of. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Yeah, this is a fun life. The benzo thing. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's hard to get any straight answers from the medical community as far as like I asked them pretty direct questions about it. 'Cause I can be pretty direct when I want to be, but it's like, do people heal up from the damage inflicted by benzos, or do you just get used to it and the damage never goes away? You just adapt to it. And the opinion that I got from my last prescriber, who is no more, was that you just get used to it. Other people have the opinion that these receptors bounce back and start to work on their own. I don't know. Maybe it's different for different people. There's really no hard science on it or research about it, you know. And it could be why people get the BWS, benzo withdrawal syndrome, where it doesn't go away. So I don't really know. Um, yeah, it's really getting boring too, as far as not being able to do anything because of having a bad leg. Like, I know that one day I would do like 5-10 minutes of housework and then lay down because the pain would start my heart kicking, and I'd get wobbly too because my leg is bent weird at the knee, and I'm always like feel like I'm falling over backwards, and I can't really make any excuses for not starting some sort of exercise program because they have like 80-year-olds do exercises, so I can do some kind of exercise, except for the fact that it's very depressing considering what I used to be able to do. So I would have to like lift weights like someone in a wheelchair, which I don't like. You know, I would have to like really limit the amount of involvement with my legs. And then like what I need is like physical therapy from somebody who's knowledgeable, not a PA or physician's assistant that's going to bend my knee to such a point that it makes it 30% worse, but somebody that's knowledgeable about it and knows what I should do, you know, because I don't know how to handle this. Like, I don't know, that dude bent my knee like as far back as he could, putting a lot of pressure on it. I don't know. I know that didn't work out too well for me, so I know I need some to work on flexibility in my legs because I don't know, putting on a pair of shorts is difficult and dangerous. It's actually dangerous. It's ridiculous to have to live in this condition, but guy next door is in a wheelchair and his legs are all shriveled up, so I'm sure he thinks it's ridiculous having to live like he lives. But I would just like to be out of the pain involved, or not dread getting up and walking around, or not be like walking around and like, oh, my knee's reached its limit, I got to get off my knee, or worry about the repercussions as far as what I'm doing. Like, oh, this is going to be really bad. Or having days like yesterday where I'm just like, oh, give me those gabapentin. I'm taking 4 of them, which is the maximum that I allow myself. I don't take more than 4 at a time. And usually that's my daily dose. I felt it wear off, like, but I just it's like, okay, it's worn off now. Um, you're gonna have to deal. You're gonna have to just sit there and suffer. So yeah, this is taking too long for these pills to work. Maybe I'm just nervous appearing on camera. You know how nervous I am and shifty on camera. Um, yeah, I don't know how do you know what increments to go? You know, you can go like at a micro snail's pace, where like I'm going to shave off like one, what my brother used to call mouse's eyeball. When he wanted to talk about something small, he would call it a mouse's eyeball. I don't know why, but it's like you shave off just like a mouse's eyeball off of the pill at a time, or like you measure the pill with a little uh, millimeters on the ruler and be like, oh, this is 10 millimeters. Tomorrow I'll take 9 millimeters and just shave off like with a razor blade or one of those pill cutters. Shave off like tiny little bits. Start taking like crumbs. I mean, what do you do? I don't know. I like to feel like I'm progressing in some way, so I guess that's why I'm doing this. Uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure I had 48 pills left over from a 90 pill bottle um, last month. So I rewatched the video where I'm counting them on the 7th, which I think is the last video I did. And I was all flustered and I lost the count on it. But then when I watched it again, I was like, okay, that's, I think, 48. But I'd have to watch it again. I'm not even sure. But it was actually somewhere between 45 and 50 pills were left over. So I don't know. You don't feel like you're doing good because you're still taking the drug, and you know I've been on them for I don't even know how many years, 5 to 6 years, and you don't feel good. Definitely, period. So you don't feel good about your situation as far as how much you're taking. You're like, oh, I'm still miserable and I'm still taking the damn drugs. So, but yeah, try to keep your perspective about these things. Just takes as long as it takes. And I'm in a bad situation as far as physically, not being able to do anything and having the bad knee and the extra stress and whatnot. And yeah, I thought I was gonna have a get together um, with a certain person on Friday, but the weather, like I said, turned evil. And it was gonna drop down below freezing. It's one of them deals where there's like wet precipitation, and then it gets dark and it goes down to 29 and 28 degrees, and so that's the risk of icy roads. I didn't hear from them or nothing like that. I actually heard from somebody else that they were planning to stop by. It's because my family's dysfunctional, so I've given up calling them. I just don't want to call them. And plus, like I said, I've been hearing alarming things from that particular outpost. The reports of the war on that front are not good. So, um, yeah, the effect of the events of the last year really hasn't been good for a lot of people. And then you have the polarization in the media as far as uh, what would you call it? Team blue, team red. Yeah, everyone's trying to capture the flag of public opinion one way or another. You got people trying to minimize what happened on the 6th at Capitol Hill on one hand, and then you have other people that are trying to make it sound way worse than it was. And we're going to have a new president sworn in on the 20th. Today is the 17th, and people are still holding their breath, waiting to see if something's going to happen. Oh, back on the 12th, we had reports that there was going to be uh, insurrectionist type events at every capital in every state in the United States. There was going to be, not that there was going to be these events, but there were plans for these events. Probably like a whole bunch of online chatter that they're listening to. Yeah, drinking a half a thing of orange juice wasn't good. My stomach can't take high acid stuff no more. But I'm not sweating it, because I really don't think, I think these people are crazy in a way, but they're not that crazy. You know, uh, they had this riot where they're breaking into the building, and but then what happened when it got dark? They brought in the National Guard and the SWAT team, and those people are like, "Hey, we're done. We're out of here. So we're not interested in getting shot." I think they understand that if it comes down to it, I'm sure there's some wackos out there that want to get killed and want to get martyred for their cause and uh, go and carry on with their jihad. But I guarantee you, it's not that many of them. It's not really ingrained in the American consciousness the same way it is in certain Arab countries. The whole idea of martyrdom. So you know, if you had like another big thing where a whole crowd of people took to the streets, it's like they're not going to play around. It's like you got your one, and I think people know the deal. My brother's convinced that they're going to have to kill some people. He's like, they're going to have to kill some people to set an example. He's like, these extremists aren't done, and they're going to take to the streets, and then they're going to have to see that um, there's deadly consequences for their behavior. I'm like, nah, I think they get it. Because if that was going to happen, they wouldn't have just split when the SWAT teams and the National Guard and stuff showed up at the Capitol building after night fell and the curfew came into effect. They just pushed them and cleared them all out. No shots fired, from what I heard at all, which is an entirely different scenario from the riots of the summer. Um, yeah. Anyways, so don't sweat it. You know, I don't even like the whole impeachment thing because I watched the speech twice, and it's like, nah, you can't get him for incitement on the speech. He told the people to go to the Capitol building, but he's explicitly told them, we're gonna gather and protest peaceful and patriotic protest. So there's no misconstruing that. Now that was one little tiny piece of the speech, and the rest of it was the type of rhetoric that can go either way. Like, we're gonna fight, but that can mean anything. We're not gonna let them steal our country. Yeah, what does that exactly mean? There's nothing in there explicitly that said we're gonna break down the building and we're gonna kill some people and we're gonna do this. The Giuliani guy said trial by combat. He used the word combat. That wasn't good, you know. But Trump himself never said we're going to go down there and use combat. And it's kind of a dumb thing to say. He's quoting Game of Thrones with trial by combat. And what was funny was like in this video, this dude was dressed for Game of Thrones, and because they had people in Viking hats and all kind of crazy gear at the protest slash riot, and one guy had chainmail on, and he goes, He just said he was all excited and he was talking to a reporter and he was like, he just said trial by combat. And he's got like chainmail on, medieval stuff like Game of Thrones. It was funny. I don't really remember what else he was wearing. I don't think he was entirely committed to his Halloween costume. But yeah, uh, whew, I don't know. It's like maybe I should mellow out on this whole benzo withdrawal thing, and I just get tired of it. Like I said, I have a lot of days where I'm just stubborn. I've been having a lot of like stubborn days. It's like, well, I can't walk on my leg, but I can do this. And then like I have a real high capacity for suffering, and really a high capacity for like danger because I have to be mellow with a bad heart, which is it's the only thing you can do. You can't really do anything else. I have no Kleenexes handy. That's a shame because I have the good sinuses in the family. So, but occasionally I get an itchy nose. Usually when I'm on camera. So, um, yeah, because I can't do anything about passing wind on camera, but I don't have to. I have that's an involuntary function. I don't have any control over that anymore. So, but I do have control whether I do any polite. I was always told, like at the dinner table, that anything below the neck was cool as far as touching yourself. But you can't do this, can't do this, can't be touching your eyes and your nose and your ears and your mouth and stuff at the dinner table. That's rude. But apparently, you're allowed to scratch your balls at the dinner table and stuff like that. You just have to do it like surreptitiously, because it was like anything above the neck is okay. You can scratch yourself, or you can, um, yeah. But any itches above the Mason Dixon line here, you're not you're not allowed to do. Um, my brother has this horrible habit of doing this, like smashing his face with the palm of his hands and like rubbing his nose back and forth. And he's real sensitive, and it's really like driving mental, and it makes a smacking noise. Like, well, I might as well demonstrate since I got an itchy nose anyway. But it would go like this. Oh, that's uncomfortable. Why would he do that? I don't know, but he would do that all the time because he got bad sinuses. Now I got a sore nose. Um, and that would drive me crazy, and I could hear him doing it over the phone sometimes. It's like nothing's changed since we were 10. Uh, yeah. Um, but anyways, we didn't really eat at the dinner table all that often. Anyways, so but like most sane people, we would eat in front of the TV. And then my sister liked to put on airs, my younger sister, so she would insist that they have dinner at the table and have a proper sit down dinner and stuff. And it's like, okay, you weren't raised that way. I have no idea why you're pretending you came from um, shishi people. I don't know. Bougie people. I don't know what the right word is. But yeah, it's like even to this day, I, it, if I'm eating, I want to be watching something on TV. It doesn't. It could be anything. It's like I want to be watching something on TV when I'm eating. I just don't want to sit there and quietly eat by myself. And I don't also want to sit there and eat and have conversations with people. I never understood that either. Um, so, I, yeah, it tests your manners and it makes you eat like really slowly because you can't talk with your mouth full. My mom taught me that too. as well as the Mason-Dixon line thing. It's like you can't talk with your mouth full. And so, yeah, and considering how long I'm capable of talking at a stretch, maybe that's why I only weighed like 148 pounds for a very long time. And now that I live alone, I'm all fat and weigh 195. And I deliberately like practically starve myself because I don't get any exercise. And God only knows, now that my metabolism has slowed down, and it's not just because of age, it's more because of not being able to move around. It's like I shoot up over 200. I can't even imagine being over 200. I couldn't imagine being over 190. But the more weight I have on that knee, the more bent and weird looking and more stress is going to be put on that knee. It's like having a bad back or something like that. And I don't like eating anyway. So, I don't like not eating, as in starving. I've gone hungry some in my life. I've been very poor. And, I've actually had to eat like some really weird stuff just to fill my belly to stop the pain, like eat a can of corn for dinner, and or eat like just boiled spaghetti with butter and salt on it. It's gross. A lot of like plain rice. Margarine was cheap, so uh, yeah. But I went through some like really poor times. And I'm just not a big fan of eating altogether. It's just like It's just like a chore that you have to do. So I starved myself quite a bit, and I found some vitamins, but they're pretty old. I think they were expired in 2016. I've been taking them. I mean, what's going to happen with them? Can you get food poisoning from vitamins? I don't know. It's like these are expired. Is it like eating an expired turkey sandwich? I don't think so. They probably just don't work. I don't know. But yeah, I got a big bottle of them around here, and take vitamins occasionally when I do eat. Uh, but yeah, I guess I got to stop being lazy and stupid, and have to deal with my reality. I just don't want to. I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't. Just I don't have any choice, of course. Uh, but usually putting off stuff just makes it worse. So um, and I have so much time to think because there's so little to keep me occupied, and that's not necessarily good. And I was brooding like really hard that one day and full of bitterness toward my family. So naturally, my brother calls me up, and he's like, "Well, you don't feel like talking or something?" I'm like, "Well, we can attempt it." And I was just starting to watch a movie, and he was asking me questions about the movie, and I'm like, "I told you, man, I don't know anything about the movie. I just started watching it." It's like, you called me. I've been watching the movie for 5 minutes. Like, quit asking me questions about a movie I haven't seen. Like, please follow along in the conversation. He ain't the best conversationalist in the world. Um, but yeah, I mean, we always talk for like an hour or so. He lives alone, so it's always going to be at least an hour, which is a long time, maybe to some of y'all. I don't know. But we've had conversations upwards of 3 hours before, you know, where there's like, you can't find a way to end it. And neither one of us really end conversations gracefully. It'll be like, I'm getting tired, and it's uncomfortable now for me to be awake. He could just do like David Letterman did on Norm Macdonald podcast, and be like, "I'm tired of talking now. Going to leave." It's basically along those lines, Or I'll be like, "Yeah, I got to get something to eat and get off the phone now." There's no exit where the conversation naturally dies, and there's like a slow down where, it's like it's good to hear from you or whatever. And he also doesn't say goodbye a lot of times or like let you know that the phone call's over. It's just like stops. It's like you've been talking for 2 hours and you should at least get a gracious goodbye for that, but you don't get nothing. You don't get like a see you later. I notice like saying like I say bye bye to people. It's like that's something people really don't do that much anymore of a younger age group when they get off the phone. And I don't know. I can't think of when I talk to people on the phone. They just kind of do stop talking nowadays. There's no like signal like this, you know, no take care or all right then later maybe you'll get or something like that. I don't know. But there used to be a formula to it, a nice reassuring formula to the end of conversations where you knew what was going on. And I call it, see, I probably didn't tell you that because I said it in another video where I talked way too slow. Not that I'm Speedy Gonzales right now, but my best friend caught corona on the first of the month, and he was supposed to go to the Florida Keys for vacation on the 4th. So he didn't get to go on vacation, and he was sick for about 10 days. And then, so I called him up sometime in the middle of the week and asked him, because he called me up on last Sunday and told me that did you hear I was sick? And I'm like, no. He's like, well, I tried to call you, and I didn't say it, but I was like, I don't think so, because, I know his number. It would appear on my phone. I think you're thinking about somebody else. I think you really did have corona and you was delirious. You didn't know what the hell was going on. But his symptoms were weird. He didn't have any of the loss of sense, like loss of taste, loss of smell. And he said he didn't really have any high fever to speak of. His symptoms were dizziness, vertigo, fatigue, a little bit of achiness, and wanting to sleep all the time. And I asked him if it was worse than the flu, and he said no. He didn't even hesitate. He said no, the flu's worse. Um, his wife, of course, caught it too, and she like got better and then got worse. It was weird. He said it's like it wasn't like that for me, but she thought she was over it. Then the next day, she was right back in it. And I was like, well, I hope that don't happen for you, because when I talked to him like last Sunday, I could really see the difference in like 3 days, because he really did sound wiped out and tired when I talked to him on Sunday, and we talked for a while, but not all that long. He likes to talk about his kids and his grandkids, so I just asked him questions about that and listened to him talk. And then when I called him a few days later and asked him, he said he said on Sunday he thought he was getting over it, and then he said on Wednesday or whenever I called him that I'm pretty sure I'm over it, but he didn't want to jinx it, because his wife was pretty sure she was over it too when it came back on. But now his son is in tip top physical condition to the extremist, and he got really sick from COVID, and he caught it like 2 months ago, and it was like pneumonia. It's like he didn't go to the hospital, but he couldn't breathe, and he had trouble breathing, and that's how he described it. It was like having pneumonia, and he was really, really, really sick. Whereas, he probably should have been in the hospital, but didn't go. And his dad gets sick, who's a much older man, and it's not that bad. And then he was like, well, that's how it is for a lot of young people. They get sicker than older people for some reason. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true, but ha 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 ha, young people, you're paying for being young. No, I don't know. That's what you get for being young and healthy and waking up in the morning and not going, oh, goddamn, everything hurts. So you have to pay for it with more severe case of corona. But yeah, I don't really. I know a lot of people that got sick from it, and none of them went to the hospital because we had like a huge flare up of cases here in Ohio. So, I not only know people personally that got sick from it, I know people that know people that know people. A lot, apparently this has become a hotbed of COVID around here. And my friend was tested, his wife was tested, so they know for sure that they had COVID. And I asked him if his doctor gave him anything for it. He's like, nope, he didn't give me any medicines for it at all. And I know they have medicines for it because when the president got sick, he got some medicines, Regeneron or something like that. But apparently, poorer people and less famous and powerful people don't rate. Man, I'm sorry for getting on here with a sour stomach and making hideous faces, but you haven't seen me for 10 days, so um, yeah, so I got sick. I had a sickness. I don't know what the hell it was. I had a super high fever and chills. That's another thing that he said is he had some chills with it. And I was like, but your fever wasn't that high? And he goes, no. He said, I didn't even bother taking it. And he said, I did have some chills, but only briefly. But I had like 102 fever. And that's when it went down. So I had like a dangerously high fever, like, and then it just went down without me taking aspirin or ibuprofen or anything. I had like a super high, shaking all over, teeth, literally teeth chattering, or tooth chattering in my case, fever. And then by the time I stopped shaking long enough to where I was like, went to take my temperature, it was 102. So I know it was higher before. And then I took it a little while later, and it was in the it was like 100.9, and then I took it, and then it was back down to normal like in 6 hours, and then I had no fever. I was like, I've never had anything like that before. Usually, when you have a fever, it sticks around for a while, at least 24 hours, not no 6 hours. So that was weird. That led me to believe that I got COVID because I never caught nothing like that before. I haven't heard any about any other new fancy diseases. So, but I don't know. And I also am unclear. Like I've heard some people say that it's like they let this um, caseworker, my main, not caseworker, what do you call him, aid worker, they let my main aid worker come back to work after she had COVID and had like 102 temperature for 5 days. And she said whatever she took, the fever wouldn't go down. Whereas I took nothing and the fever disappeared almost instantly. So they let her come back to work because her doctor said she was producing antibodies, and yet some people say you can get it more than once. Some people I've been hearing you can get it, and then you're like you can't catch it a second time. And I'm like, I don't think they know. I don't know what to believe. I'm not going to research it or anything like that. But yeah, I wish I had a big old jug of milk here that I could drink, or some antacid or something. Uh, yeah, I got like literally 14 containers of juice, like uh, currant and apple juice, cherry juice, and orange juice in my refrigerator because they keep sending me juice in the global meals, and I can't drink it because it upsets my stomach now. And I don't have anybody to palm it off on, which I was like, oh, cool. I'm gonna see so and so on Friday. I can get rid of all this stuff I got that I don't have enough teeth to eat, or juices that I can't drink because it violates some unwritten policy in my stomach. Um, I didn't get to do that because they didn't show up, and I didn't get my food card off of them because they didn't show up. And I guess I have to call them because they're not going to call me and talk to them about it. I thought about what somebody suggested. You know who you are. That just report it stolen, and I was like, yeah, that seemed like a good idea because I don't know. Maybe I'm being paranoid, but it's like suppose then they do start spending that card And suppose this card has a different number on it, so I got a card with one number on it. You know what I mean? But they send me like an identical card. I don't know, but I don't want to find out and get in trouble for some kind of fraud, especially when technically I'm supposed to be getting $3 a month in food benefits, but because of the COVID thing, they're kicking in another 188. I haven't checked it for this month, but usually doesn't come in until the 20th. Hmm. But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can afford to let myself get any more depressed and inactive. And uh, yeah, I mean it's rough once you're sitting there shaving and you're hurrying up shaving because you want to get off your leg, or like you're like, oh shit, I got to do this. And then like I'm economical in my movements. I'm like, well, I'm not taking any extra steps. So it's like when you go and get groceries out of the car and you want to take as fewer trips as possible. I do that in the house. I'm like, well, I want to get this, this, and this. What is the shortest route possible for me to get this, this, that, and the other? And then like if I'll forget one thing and I'll lay in bed and like, oh, I forgot this shit, I gotta get up again. And it's kind of a big deal. Um, so like living like that's not doable. With all my other issues, it's not doable. Like I said, the boredom is getting to me pretty bad. And um, yeah, if the Browns win today, I'll have something to do, but I won't enjoy doing it, which is sell off my cards. Because if they win and beat the Super Bowl champs, that is the time to sell. Is between this Sunday and next Sunday with the AFC Championship game. So every day, well, I will be spending hours. I hope they lose. No, I don't. I want them to win. I will be spending hours fucking around with them cards and writing ads and trying to find the best way to do it to where like what you do is you write like a little formulaic ad and you just let the picture do the selling and then you just describe what the thing is in the title and you don't bother writing a description for each individual item. You just have like a standard thing about shipping, about study the pictures, uh, whatever. I don't remember what my rap was. And unfortunately, eBay doesn't save anything after a certain time limit. So I can't go back through my files because I wrote a lot of ads that I pulled down. I can't go back through my files on eBay and say, okay, I can put this back up. Because I put back up a card. I think they have a 90-day limit. I put back up a card that's on now. It's sort of like a test run, and I just had the ad was already written for it. The pictures are already taken for it and everything. It's just you just have to relist it. But so anyways, you may not remember this. Hopefully you don't remember this, but I had a when I first started like selling cards again. Could I couldn't get my old camera to work because I actually used to use a real camera and not use a phone. I didn't really know how to use a phone to take a picture and then load that picture onto the computer. And it's like didn't know how to do that. I didn't know that you could take like a USB cable and download all your pictures at once. So I was sitting there and each individual picture that I took, and sometimes you have to sit there and take 100 pictures to make sure you get good ones. I would have to write an email to myself and send an email from my phone to my computer to get it on the computer so I could put it on the ad. It was a super huge pain in the ass. But before I even figured out how to do that, I was just stealing people's pictures. And I didn't realize that that is a crime and it's called intellectual property theft and that you could get booted off of eBay for it. So I have a card where there's only 10 of them that exist. My card was numbered like 5 out of 10. So I took a picture. I just stole this guy's picture that was selling the same card. It just happened to be selling the same card that had a different number on it because they're each individual card. So mine was number 5 and his was number 2. So some idiot who's got too much time on his hand asked me, he's like, somebody is selling the exact same card as you. Who is selling this card? Because this card is numbered 2 and your card is number 2. Now you gotta understand, this is a little tiny thing and it's a little tiny detail, and the guy was probably not even interested in buying the card at all. He was just a shit stirrer. And so he asked me, and I'm not admitting to stealing the guy's picture because I know that eBay monitors all the emails. So I just don't answer the guy. So he goes to the guy, and the guy uses that as an opportunity to extort me because he goes to the guy and says it's the same thing he said to me. He's like, look, man, your card is number 2, and this other guy's card is number 2. There's not 2 number 2s. So this guy writes me a very carefully worded email threatening me, more or less. So I'm like, well, fuck, I gotta buy the guy's card. That's the only way for me to get out of this. So this meddlesome asshole cost me like $80 for a card that I don't even want to buy, that I just got done selling one of those cards. So I was like, well, you know what? The one way to keep this guy and make sure that he doesn't report me out to eBay, because I have a billion cards I have to sell on eBay and I don't know any other way to sell them, is to buy his stupid card. So why this guy felt compelled to do this, I don't know, but I wrote his name down on a piece of paper, and I waited until it was 6 months, and his wife, apparently according to what it says, his wife sells Pokemon cards and he sells sports cards, and that's what it says in this little description of him as a seller. So I bought a Pokemon card. I think it's a Pokemon or a Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know what the hell. I just wanted to buy something off of him so I could give him a negative feedback and ruin his 100% feedback. So now he has a 98.8 feedback, and I was like, well, how can I do this in the vaguest fashion possible? And I'm like, okay, I can complain about the condition because that's subjective. So I will say that the description does not match the condition. Buyer beware, because you got to write a reason for your negative feedback. So that was my petty revenge for the dude meddling in my business when it really doesn't matter at all. I mean, from a collector's standpoint, it's like, no, I didn't want card number 5 out of a series of 10 cards. I wanted card number 2. It's the exact same fucking card, or I wouldn't have been able to use the picture to sell my card. The card is exactly the same. It just has a different number on it. But you can't pass off somebody else's picture as yours because it's an actual crime. It's like, oh great, I committed a crime. That's uncool, because I read eBay's policy on it, and they were like, that's a one strike policy. We can, they can boot you off of there for it, because they have like a strike system too, where you can do certain things and you can get away with it, and you can do other things and get booted off of there immediately. And that was one of those ones where they give you the boot immediately. So anyways, so I got my petty revenge, and I only bought one thing off of them. I should have bought like 2 things and really trashed their feedback, or 3 things and really trashed their feedback, but I didn't want to spend the money. I'm not that interested in revenge. As a matter of fact, not only did I not want to spend the money, I didn't even spend my money because they have this thing called eBay Bucks where they give you like rewards points. So it was just like it was like an $8 purchase. It was the cheapest thing I could buy off of them. It was like an 8. No, it was. Well, what does it matter? Details. It was a $6 to $8 purchase, and I just used my eBay bucks, which is not actual money. It's just an incentive thing they got you. And I'm gonna buy stuff off of eBay anyways. But anytime you buy something off of there, you get a little tiny percentage of it that they call eBay bucks. If you don't know about that. So I had like $8.32 built up in eBay bucks. and I used that. I'm like, I'm not spending like $30 to get revenge on this dude for making me spend $80. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm just throwing bad money after bad. So yeah, but I was like, he won't remember who I am, or why I did that after 6 months. So I waited and I did that. You know, he deserved it. He's causing trouble for. That caused me a lot of grief because I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with all these cards? Where am I gonna sell them? If I get booted off of eBay, how the fuck am I gonna sell all these damn cards? So, and then I got the guy, like, he's laying down the muscle on me that's got the actual picture that I had stolen. Not knowing that it was a big deal. I thought it was no big deal that you could just take a picture of something off, take somebody's picture. It's not like I'm taking a picture of their kid or something like that. I'm taking a picture of a picture. I'm actually taking a picture of a picture of a football player. That's what a card is. So I'm taking a picture of a picture. Big fucking deal. But apparently to eBay it is a big deal. Anyways, so that's how boring my life is. I had to make that a 10-minute story. Um, yeah. So I don't know where I'm going to muster up the chutzpah, the nerve, the gall, the outright mendacity. I think, wait a minute, I don't think that works. The temerity to, I think mendacity is a lie, is about like being mendacious, is being a liar. Uh, uh, the temerity to, and the nerve to, and the impetuosity to go to the doctor and be like, okay, here's my fucking knee. Go ahead. You fucked it up so many times. Go ahead, try not to fuck it up again. It's like putting your hand on the radiator for the fifth time and expecting different results because this has been an ongoing thing where I've had treatment for it. I've had a procedure done to it. I've gone to orthopedists. I've tried to get something done about my knee, and it just gets more and more deformed and more worse looking. And the symptoms of CRPS, your joints get something called ankylosed, and you get like knobby joints, and uh, there's a whole bunch of joint damage involved in it. And I didn't know it could turn you into an ostrich, but that's pretty much what's happening to me. I'm always falling over backwards and like catching myself on the wall, or catching myself on doorways, or catching myself on the sink. And I guess it's better than falling on your face. It's better to fall on your ass, but you know, mental note: no more orange juice. I just want to find somebody to give the stuff away to. I'm just not motivated to do anything, and that's bad because ultimately, what happens then is you start feeling hopeless with your situation. It like my dad had this expression like, "Do something even if it's wrong." It's like it always feels to be better to be doing something even if you're not getting the results you want. If you're laying around being passive, you're going to start feeling that whirlpool sensation, you know, being sucked down. And yeah, I have to. I don't even know how well I've maintained my phone skills as far as making business calls. I've made so few of them here recently, and I think the last business type calls I've made were to the aid agency and um, the drugstore. It's like I haven't called any doctors, or I haven't called any caseworkers. I did call. No, I didn't call them. They called me. I did talk to the case manager from CareSource, and they didn't. She wasn't bothersome and wasn't a nag, which was cool. It's like I know I need to get a doctor. It's like uh, I don't know. Like I said, you just can't not do nothing. You have to try. Uh, it's a difficult situation to be in when you don't know if trying is going to make things worse. As far as me walking around more and stuff, it seems like my knee does not like that, and I like that. It did wonders for my mood for a couple of days just because I was that one day, and it also makes the time pass faster. That one day I was like doing stuff around the house. These, like I said, these little 5-10 minute bursts of doing things, and then I would lay back down and watch a TV show, and then I would get back up, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to pick up the cans that are over there by the garbage can. Now I'm going to get rid of these boxes, and then I'm going to lay back down. And I'm going to get up, and I'm going to drag the garbage cans over to the window, and then throw them out the window. And all that I'm going to lay back down, you know. And it's like, oh, that made the day go quicker. And yeah, maybe I should call this the orange juice video because I feel like it's been dominated by me making horrible expressions. Uh, I need to go drink some milk and some baking soda water, which is my antacid, because it's cheap. I actually just put a little baking soda in the palm of my hand and then put water in it and drink it out of my hand. I don't even measure it or anything like that. I guess you're supposed to measure it and stir it up in some water. That's too much work. I have fairly large hands, so I can make a cup out of my hand and drink out of my hand like an engine out of a stream. Um, but yeah, uh, I guess I don't really. This has been nice. You allowing me to kill some time with you, anyways. Because it's a long way till the football game, and I don't even get to watch the football game live because I don't have TV. I have what do you call it? NFL Network. It's called Game Pass, but you can't watch the games until they're over. So probably won't even be able to watch the game today because I woke up at 3 in the morning. So like, if the game starts at 3, you can't watch it until it's over, which is like 6:30. So I'll probably just wait till tomorrow to watch it, and because I'm gonna if I got up at 3:30, I'm gonna start getting sleepy probably about the time the game's over with. And since it's probably going to be the last game of the season, uh, I might as well not be nodding off during it. And yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna go and take care of my belly, and I apologize for this video with all the faces and the wind passing and all the talk about all the time I'm talking about good manners and stuff. Yeah, I'm the one to talk about good manners. Actually, I'm a fairly well-mannered chap. I'm actually polite and nice to people almost all the time, and even try to be encouraging from time to time. Like I took it too far though, because I was talking to that case manager lady, and I'm like, you know what? You have a nice speaking voice. She says, well, thank you. That's good to hear. I need to hear something like that today. And I'm like, yeah, and it's important for a woman to have a nice speaking voice. It's a very underrated quality because sooner or later you're going to have to listen to them talk, and they're probably going to talk for a really long time. And it's like, yeah, okay, you just ruined your compliment. And then there was like a awkwardness with the rest of the tiny remainder of that phone call. Though it is the truth that if I had a squeaky, annoying voice, you wouldn't be listening to me this long, and I don't think so anyway. And then when I watch, so of course I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't just waste people's time on YouTube. I also waste my own time on YouTube and watch other people's videos. And I'm like, that's a good looking woman. And then she opens her mouth, and I'm like, I'm not watching this video. So that's a really underweighted. That's a really underrated quality in a person. It's whether they have a tolerable speaking voice. and whether they are annoying or not, you know, because yeah, because you're not gonna sit there in quiet, composed silence, especially in the early part of the relationship. Because this is what I have heard anyway, as an outsider to the human race, is in the early part or the honeymoon phase of any romantic relationship, it's all sex and talking, and it's beautiful. This is what I've heard anyway. But and I've seen guys that are like, I can't be that vulgar. I was gonna say C-struck. Can't say that. I've seen guys that were like in the utter honeymoon phase, where they're like, it's fresh and new, and they're in love, and the blush is still on the rose, and they're sitting there and they're just rapturously looking up at what to me is an utter annoying gas bag of a woman, but because they're getting sex from them, they're like, oh, isn't she wonderful? And you're like, I've had that experience a few times because I'm very alienated, so I go outside of situations and I'm like, what the fuck? I'll do that like um, in really weird circumstances too. Like I will have time to think about like how the fuck could this happen when I stuck that screw in my hand. I went to get up and like my hand slipped in the blood, and I was like looking at it instead of like being like, oh fuck shit. I was like, are you kidding me? How'd this happen? Oh okay. There's that exposed screw. So when I'm analyzing the situation, blood's running down my. I was like, stop the blood. You're on blood thinners. That's why you're bleeding like that. And then I'm like, analyzing how the screw went in my hand or why. I was like, why do I have this mark up here on my finger? I'm like, oh, that's probably because when this slipped off, I probably raked that finger across the same screw. And I'm like, I took out a protractor and I lined up the marks and stuff, and I did some CSI work. And I'm like, oh, okay. Meanwhile, I'm still losing blood. I do things like that sometimes. I go outside of situations. And yeah, I think it's probably because I've been through so much physical torture in my life at an early age that I do stuff like that, and I make jokes like that are like highly inappropriate jokes. I remember when I was a kid, and it was the first time I had a prostate exam. So this is my closer, people. So I'm 16 years old. I had just had spinal surgery, and this guy is snapping on the rubber glove and stuff and explaining what he's gonna do. And I'm like, hey, dude, man, what's your first name? And he goes, Ben. Why? And I was like, well, Ben, if you're gonna do what I think you're about to do, I think we should be on a first name basis. And the dude didn't laugh. I was like, what's wrong with people? That's fucking funny. Maybe he'll process it later and be like, oh, okay, that was pretty funny. But in the middle of it, it's like, that's weird. What did he mean by that? It's like, does this dude like this kind of stuff? I mean, I don't know what's going through his head except for a puzzled look. But people that have those weird jobs, like doing that particular thing, and anybody can do that. So this guy is not like he didn't go to 12 years of medical school to learn how to stick his finger up somebody's butt. But you also have like the shaver people. I could not think of a good joke for that when they want to shave your pubes for before surgery. It's like I couldn't think of a good joke for that. So I still can't. Uh, let's see. Do you mow grass on the weekends? I mean, I don't know. Are you a landscaper by trade, or is this like an avocation? I mean, I don't. I got nothing. So yeah. Not only did I ruin my compliment to that woman on the phone. Now I ruined my prostate joke. Damn. So I should go and take care of my bad stomach and try to figure out how to waste some more time out of this day. That's all I feel like I'm doing nowadays. It's just like wasting time watching movies, like watching horror movies. I had Escape Room. I don't even know. I think it's some kind of thriller thing. Like booted up, and I'm like, well, I can watch this Escape Room movie, or I can do a video, and maybe somebody will like to listen to it. I think I'll do that latter thing. And yeah. So anyway, happy Anna. Let's see, I can't pronounce words right. Happy Antacid Day to you too, is what I was gonna say. But anyways, that was dumb. Okay, goodbye. I'll try to do better next time.